Hello and welcome to my first ever update video. In this we're going to take a look around my new game room and office, and we're also going to have a bit of a sit down session at the end of the video to talk about the future of my channel. The reason that there's been no content here for a while is simply because I've been moving house and because I've got a new job, so I apologise for that, but either way, let's take a look around. So as you can see, this is my game shelf where I keep all of my stuff. At the top there we've got PS1 games which go down eventually to PS4, then the Nintendo section begins, and then finally the Xbox section begins, which eventually leads into PC. By far my biggest collection of games is the PS1 section. That's because it's my favourite console and I kind of collect games for that system. Even though I am a fan of the PS1 and the PlayStation consoles generally, I have started to get more into Nintendo recently. I actually first got into Nintendo with the Wii U, and then I kind of went backwards and eventually got some NES games, N64 games, GameCube games and stuff like that. So I've pretty much got games from Nintendo's entire history at this point. As for the Xbox, I've never really been the biggest fan of their systems, although I did have the Xbox 360 as being my primary way of playing games for a while. But since then I've kind of grown out of the Xbox consoles, and the only reason I've got an Xbox One at all is because I share one with my girlfriend who I now live with. You may have also noticed that another thing on my shelf is all of these toys and figures. For example, here we've got a plush of Bub from Bubble Bobble. I've tried to keep all of my my figures and stuff next to the corresponding games. So for example with Bub there, we've got him next to Bubble Bobble. With Kirby down here, we've got him next to Kirby Triple Deluxe, and Mario next to Super Mario 3D Land. So yeah, I've tried to keep things organised in that way, but it doesn't always work. So like Flappy Bird here, who also acts as a hat stand, he's not next to a Flappy Bird game. And this yellow Yoshi up here, he's not next to any kind of Yoshi game. Crash is though, he's next to the PS1 Crash games. But yeah, some of them are random simply because I've got way too many Yoshi toys and kind of need to put them somewhere. And just because I don't have toys for every single game that I own. So some of them are going to be random. So over in this corner of the room we've got this black cabinet, and this is where I like to display all of my game consoles. There's another cabinet over there. This one is for Nintendo consoles and the one over there is for PlayStation and Xbox consoles. So on the top two sections we've got the consoles themselves, ranging from the mini Nintendo consoles to the GameCube, N64 and NES. Then at the very bottom we've got my collection of game books, ranging from fiction to art books to stuff like the Hyrule Historia, which is just like information about a particular game series. Then on top I've displayed this Oddworld art book. I'm a huge fan of the Oddworld series, so I had to get this to read through and display. Some of my consoles aren't actually displayed in these cabinets, and that's because they're downstairs, because they're the ones that I use primarily to actually play games as a hobby rather than just to record and do reviews for. So stuff like the Wii U and the PS4 and the Xbox One are all down there because they're going to get used more frequently than the ones displayed up here. Displaying consoles like this in a shelf is actually a little bit annoying because a lot of them you can't stack on top of each other. So for example, the N64 has a curved top, so nothing can rest on top of it, and it's the same issue with the PS3 Slim. So you've got to think about what can go on top of what so you can organise it properly, but then sometimes it doesn't look as good as you imagined it would. So one of the last things in the room I've got to show you is this area, which is where I do all of my game capturing, all of the script writing, and basically everything that goes on behind the scenes. So I've got my 2-monitor setup, so that helps with everything actually. That helps with writing and it helps with editing because I've got the preview screen on one side and the timeline on the other. But it helps with script writing because you can kind of have the Word document open on one and then another Word document open on the other, so you can easily keep glancing at both. So I find that really handy. At some point I think I'm going to get a 3rd monitor, but that is a little bit over the top, you don't really need that. Other than that, I've got a 2.1 speaker set up so I can properly listen to the audio and set it up properly. I tend to listen to the audio back through headphones and through the speakers just so I can get a good idea of what it will sound like on different sound setups. The last thing I've got to show you in the room is this side, which is empty at the moment and there's nothing to see, but this is where I'm going to be filming my actual video reviews because there's going to be a sofa here which I'm going to sit on and a poster in the background too at some point. So the reason that you're going to be seeing me against this wall is because from now on I'm going to be sat on a sofa when I review games. So instead of me looking directly into the camera as if you are the TV, I'm now going to be looking at an actual TV, which is going to be in the center of the room, and I'm going to be turning to face the camera when I address the audience. I think that looks a little bit better and is a bit more immersive, whereas before it was a little bit weird, because sometimes I would just stare at the camera and just not break eye contact for ages. But it didn't quite work in my old videos, I don't think, and I think this will be much better. Now that we're sat down, let's begin the update section of the video. First of all, I'd like to say a huge thank you to anyone who's subscribed or anyone who's even watched any of my videos, because recently we've hit 2 big milestones. First, we've got over 100 total subscribers, which is just absolutely incredible. And secondly, we've got over 10,000 total views, which again is just insane. So really, all I can do at this point is say thank you. So now let's talk about the future of my channel. So as you may have noticed, at the moment I upload 4 types of content, the main thing being video reviews, which spans modern reviews and retro reviews. The modern reviews I don't do very often because I want to keep the focus of the channel being retro, hence the name Rob's Retro Reviews. But there are a few modern games coming out this year that I want to cover with full-on reviews as opposed to just a shorter impressions video, but I'll talk more about those later. As for the retro reviews, they'll definitely be staying because they're the main focus of the channel and they're the things I enjoy creating the most and the things I put most time into too. So the second type of content that will still be uploaded on the channel is impressions, and they're basically shorter, more casual and informal reviews where I don't do any filmed segments and it's literally just my voiceover on top of some gameplay. So the reason I originally started doing this style of video is because I didn't want there to be like a month gap or a 2-week gap between every video I put out, simply because that would be too long, and you know how YouTube works in terms of it doesn't actually advertise channels unless they're putting out regular content. So I want to do fairly regular content, so maybe a week where there's a video review, a week where there's an impressions, maybe a week where there's another impressions and then another video review. But I'm not coming up with any kind of set schedule because I tried that before on like a trial period and it didn't work. Just because I've got other commitments outside of making these YouTube videos, so things can get in the way sometimes. So the video reviews and the impressions, that's content that's going to be staying on my channel and I don't see that ever stopping. The third type of content is lists, and again, I'm not going to stop doing those either, it's just that they're going to be a bit few and far between. So the lists that go up on my channel at the moment tend to be based around a particular game conference, so I've done one on E3 and I've done one on PSX, but I want to start doing more lists around a particular subject that's close to me. So I did one before that was my top 5 things that I don't like about the PS4, and I plan on doing a couple more lists like that in the future. The fourth type of content that's currently uploaded on the channel is my gameplay videos, and to be honest, these don't do particularly well in terms of views, so I'm pretty much going to be stopping doing them from now on. I will be finishing my Dark Souls Soul Level 1 playthrough, so if you see those videos going up after this video, it's just me finishing the game. I've also recorded myself getting all of the Platinum Relics and beating all of the time trials in Crash Team Racing, and it would seem a bit of a shame to just not upload that footage, seeing as I've already got it. So after the Dark Souls Soul Level 1 playthroughs, I will also be uploading them, but after that, there'll be no more gameplay videos uploaded to my channel. However, if you are a fan of that style of content, what I will be doing soon is starting to stream over on Twitch. So if you go to the description now, you can follow me there prematurely, and then you'll be notified when I eventually go live. It'll probably be within the next month that I start regularly streaming, so we'll see how that goes. Another style of video that I've said I want to start creating soon is a sort of retrospective video. So the way that this would work is if I've reviewed an entire series of games, like for example all of the Crash games on PS1, I would then do a retrospective video where it's me and my girlfriend or me and a friend who just casually talk about the series as a whole and what we like and don't like about it. So it's more of an informal conversation rather than a review. I think that's an interesting style of content to put up, it's almost like a video podcast. So to break it down, the content that I'm going to be creating on this channel from now on will be video reviews, retrospectives, impressions and lists. I'll also be doing streaming over on Twitch, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to put those streams onto YouTube or not at this point, but we'll see how that goes. So for those that don't know, I've actually been running a blog for longer than I've been running this YouTube channel, and the two were kind of interconnected. They're both called Rob's Retro Reviews, and I put all of my video reviews on my blog as well as this YouTube channel. but recently I've kind of lost the motivation to do a lot of written content. It doesn't get as much publicity as the video content, and it doesn't get as many views. So I'm just going to make the announcement that from now on I'm going to stop writing content for my blog, and from here on out it's all about the videos. So you may be wondering what I'm working on now and what the future of the channel holds, and while I'm not going to tell you every single one of my secrets, what I will do is let you in on a few things that are going to be uploaded soon. So one of my plans is to begin reviewing light gun games, so stuff like Point Blank and Time Crisis. I think they'll make good videos because they aren't covered that often, probably because people don't have the capture devices to be able to do it, or don't have access to a CRT TV to be able to play them properly. Another thing I want to do is review the Lucky Luke series of PS1 games. They're European exclusive action platformers that don't have much attention online, so I'd like to be one of the few people who's actually reviewed them. But as well as that, I plan on reviewing some more mainstream retro titles. So the next video review that goes up after this update video will be for a little game called Crash Team Racing, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, so I hope you look forward to that. So yeah, if you're a fan of Lucky Luke, if you like light gun games, or if you like Crash Team Racing, there's something there to get excited for, and I'm also working on a ton of other things. I'm going to be marathoning a really famous PS1 series soon as well, so I'll leave that as a secret and let you try and figure out what that is. So yeah, that about covers it for this update video. I think I've said everything I want to say, although no doubt when I stop recording I'm going to remember something important, but if that happens I'll just put it in the description. So yeah, thank you for the over 100 subscribers, and thank you for the 10,000 total views. I hope you're looking forward to all of the new content coming soon, and until next time, bye!